So I finally got my throne back. I was dethroned by Kachi 2 weeks ago, Balale last week, and I'm back. And my name is still Adebo Alevejare, and it's still the best show in the whole of the planet, running on a band radio scope and on our YouTube channel, Newsinstanta Sport. I'm loving the background, guys. But before we go into that, let's just introduce ourselves. Malali, let's start with you.
Hello, sport fans around the world. Welcome to the show. I hope you are going to have a nice time with us today.
All right, Shay. All right, Kachi.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Shay once again, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, perfect. Kachi.
Sports fans, it's always a pleasurable time being here with you. For those of us who can see us on our channel, Wale holding the microphone reminds me of John Champion and Jim Begley. It's giving us an idea of how interesting the show will be today. Always happy to be here.
All right, thank you very much, Kachi. And Olainka.
Hi, sports people. Welcome to the best show on earth.
All right, perfect. Great, great, great. It's great to be here. And of course, big thank you and big shout out to all our fans that you've been watching us, seeing us grow. Today is going to be the 41st edition of the show. We're growing, and we are going to be better and better by the special grace of God. And of course, where do we start from? We start from the NBA finals. Not the finals everybody wants to see, you know. We don't have all the big names and all the big shots. But I'm going to start with you, Kachi. We've seen the first two players in the history of the NBA finals dropping 40 points. This is the first time I've seen it. And if I'm looking at the roster that we've seen in the NBA finals, we've seen the best of the best. How good are these two guys that have actually dropped the 40 points as?
Thank you very much, Debo. I know you were going to say, oh, this final is devoid of stars, but I beg to disagree. I think we're just seeing a whole slew of different stars that we're used to. Devin Booker is definitely a star in his own right. DeAndre Ayton as well. Not taking anything away from the Greek freak, Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday. To go back to your question, this is the first time that we're seeing two players drop back-to-back 40 points. Devin Booker did it in games 4 and 5. Giannis Antetokounmpo did it in games 3 and 4. I think it bodes well. It tells us that the NBA is in very good hands, that the next generation of talents that we have are probably going to take the game even to another level that, the last generation about to die off, and I'm talking of the LeBron James's, Chris Paul's generation has been. But what a series this has been. Milwaukee dropping the first 2 games, coming back to win the next 3. It's probably par for the course. Over the course of this year's playoffs, they've started that way. Well, should I say from the Eastern Conference semifinal, Milwaukee does not know how to start very well because they just have one natural pure shooter in Chris Middleton. But what they do have and what they do very well is their size, their physicality, and their ability to grind you so they can press you, put their weight on you. And that's what we're seeing them do to Chris Paul. Game 4 was a masterclass in defensive stop. We probably, if the NBA Finals is about key moments, the Milwaukee Bucks have had 2 really key moments. The first in Game 4 with Giannis being able to twist himself to block the Devin Booker alley-oop to DeAndre Ayton. And in Game 5, when it seemed like the Phoenix Suns had rallied from a 14-point fourth quarter deficit to about almost tying it, Drew Holiday stripping Devin Booker, throwing a perfect alley-oop to Giannis, and Giannis dunking it. and gets drawing a foul, and Drew Holiday drawing a foul, I want to say it's over. Game 6 is in the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. It's probably done with, but it's been an amazing series. I know Davo said it will get to 7 games, but at this rate, I don't think it will get to 7 games. It has been an amazing series.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. I'm going to come to you now, Ali. This is like the 7th time the Suns are playing against the Milwaukee this season. And the highest that they've been able to get before the game on Saturday was 118 points. Now they came in with 119 points, but still lost against the Bucks. We thought the Bucks had played all their cards in the first 2 games, game 1, game 2. We felt this is going to be like not a stroll, but at least an edge for them psychologically and in terms of the result, right? Do you see the Suns coming back in this one?
That's a pretty difficult feat to achieve at this stage, considering the fact that just like any other game, basketball too, it's a game of momentum. And for the fact that the Suns took game 1 and game 2, they took game 1 and game 2 comfortably. What Milwaukee have been able to do perfectly, which was that they were able to adjust perfectly to the Phoenix Suns guard, because in game 1 and game 2, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they got everything they wanted. But going forward, at least they slow down that pick and roll between Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. They found a way of, but despite all that, I think if Chris Paul has probably lifted his game a little bit, just a little bit better in game 4, Devin Booker actually did everything for them to win that game. Like Kachi said, 2 key moments so far has determined this series, which could have probably turned it into Suns moments. That Giannis block of denying DeAndre Ayton that alley hoop. Then game 5, great defense from the Holiday on Devin Booker. So looking at game 6, everything, history, statistics, momentum is in favor of Milwaukee going to game 6. They are going back home. They know they are 1 game away from becoming NBA champion for the first time since 1971. So it's going to be a difficult task for the Suns. But it's not impossible. I think the chance of it happening is as low as 20%. They will need an historic game from both of their guards for them, and some very pretty good defense for them even to have a chance of that happening. As it is now, it is Milwaukee game to lose. And if you look at the last 3 games Milwaukee have won, there are 3 major, because our concern about Milwaukee going into this final series has always been consistency of their 3 major stars. And if you look at the last 3 games they've won,
the three guys.
Giannis averaged 33 points. Chris Middleton averaged 29 points, while Drew Holiday averaged 20 points. And you have to give it to Drew Holiday, considering the kind of energy he's putting in terms of his defensive play. For him to still have averaged 20 points in the last 3 games is a great effort. So as it is, going back to the question you asked, I think it's possible, but
it's possible, but
very,
very,
very
slim.
It's
All
very,
right.
very slim.
Yeah. Kachi, you want to add something before I go to Lainka?
Yes, I wanted to say, let's not forget that Drew Holiday was a recent addition, and the Milwaukee Bucks gave away a lot of capital to get Drew Holiday because they saw him as the missing piece to making them become a championship contender. Considering that they had Eric Bledsoe playing that Drew Holiday role right now, and he couldn't do it, even though they were the best regular team in the NBA. We have to give him a lot of credit. Not only is he a point guard attacking, but he's been described by his contemporaries as one of the best 2-way point guards He is a point guard in the true definition, but he will get you stops. He has come into his own. For the fans who didn't know his caliber, his pedigree before now, is looking like money or draft pick well spent.
All right, perfect. Like I'm gonna come to you. We seem to give so much accolade to the coaches in football and other sports, right? People might argue, I do argue, same way that see in basketball when you are good, the impact of coaches are minimal, right? But this guy, Mark Bendoza, if I get the pronunciation correct,
Bulldozer.
Mike Bulldozer.
Bulldozer. Yeah. How much of homework did he do? And on the scale of 1 to 10, how well are we going to rate him? That's my first question to you. I could ask the second one, but if you want me to wait, I could.
You cannot do it.
Okay, and the second one is Chris Paul. This is definitely losing. This is going to be a definite heartbreak for him. How do you feel? Just put yourself in the shoe for 2 seconds. How does it feel? Knowing, seeing the way he performed game 1, game 2, and the drop in performance in game 3, game 4, game 5, for me particularly. Those are my 2 questions.
Okay. First of all, we need to give kudos to Mike Budenholzer, the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. He was appointed in 2018, to steer the team into becoming a cup-winning team, and he hasn't disappointed. And you cannot take away his experience, given the fact that even in 2019 he was made the head of the East Coast All-Star team. And you have to give it to him. The adjustment he has made in that team in the last, don't let us go back 3 years. Let's say in the last 2 weeks, the adjustment he has made in terms of player selection has been awesome. You have to give it to him. Even in the last game, he allowed Jeff Tugg to play like 8 minutes. And I want to, in my opinion, using Jeff Tugg to a large extent stifled the ability of Chris Paul. Although Chris Paul on his own, I'm sure he must be disappointed in his output in the last game. However, you have to give it to Mike. He's done so much. He identified the fact that, like Kachi said, he identified the need of a strong, hardworking guard, and goes Drew Holiday. And I've said it before on this show that anytime Drew Holiday comes into a game, you cannot believe his output. He gives it his all. He's everywhere. To me, it's like yes, Chris Middleton is like he coordinates the team to a large extent, but Drew Holiday works so hard that it's unbelievable the number of minutes he puts in. And obviously, what can we say about the beast himself, Giannis? And those 3 guys that are going to stay together for a long time, hopefully. And if they stay together, and with Mike at the end of the affair, I can tell you the Bucks are going to go a long way. Now, coming to CP3, CP3 is a veteran that we know very well. We know his ability. However, every player, they seem to have their down time. Let me put it like that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, but this downtime is critical because we're talking about the NBA finals. That is where you need to establish the fact that you have been in this game for a long time, and that is where your experience is meant to come to the fore. Don't take anything away from CP3. He's done a lot, even in this finals. However, you have to give him more to the tactical and technical acumen of the opposition, especially the coach, Mike Budenholzer. They've been able to stifle the Chris Paul. Kevin Booker had a great game. Even in I think had a great game. However, the beast to a large extent cornered him. And to me, going into the 6th game in Milwaukee, chances are that the tie will be settled.
So basically,
I think I would like to add something to this question.
Just one.
I want to add something to.
Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yes, just like what you said, I think there's a bit of mixed feelings around the NBA community about Mike in terms of his game adjustment. Many people believe he has not really he has not really reacted very well to most of what his opponents are actually thrown to him, especially the Brooklyn Nets series. Many people believe because of the size of the Brooklyn Nets that they don't see any reason why Milwaukee, despite the fact that they were struggling from the three, they continue to play like a small team. They're not making use of their size enough. They're not dominating Brooklyn in the paint. Many believe with the kind of number of injuries, Brooke, especially game 5, most people believe they shouldn't have lost that game. It was because of his approach. Even in the Atlanta series, and even in the finals, there have been a bit of complaint about his approach. But again, what can we say? For it, it's just a game away from winning the NBA championship, and you just have to give it to him. At least I think in the final, of course, we've seen a bit of very good reaction from him. As to Chris Paul, of course, even the two teams, let me tell you this, whoever end up losing this series, we look at this year as a missing opportunity. With all due respect to the Milwaukee Bucks team, as good as we think they are, I still stand on my point. They are not beating a fully fit Brooklyn Nets. It's not just going to happen because James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant on the court. Who do you double team? You can't double team any of the three.
Don't worry,
the three of them are playmakers and shooters. So and we look at the injury list in the Western Conference too, from LeBron James to Anthony Davis to Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi Leonard was actually fit, I don't think Phoenix Suns will even be in the finals.
Exactly.
If Kawhi Leonard is actually fit, I'm not. So for the two teams, whoever end up losing this year looks more like a lottery year, like
a missed opportunity.
Anybody's chance, a missed opportunity
in all sports.
But I think Chris Paul will be more on the what we like to say, more disappointed than, because of course, even though Milwaukee might not be the favorite going into the next 3-4 seasons, but at least they have a very good team, they have a very young squad. They will still fancy their chance along the line. But Chris Paul, after this year, I just don't see it happening again for the Suns. So it's either he gets it done this series, or he should just forget about winning an NBA title.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Alali. Just looking at the extension possibilities for the offseason, the guys that could be making the next big thing, extending our contracts in the NBA. First is KD, who becomes a free agent in 2023. And next on the block is Steve Curry, who becomes free agent in 2022. He's 34 years old right now, with a career ending of about $212 million. Great one. We don't know if he's going to extend with the Golden State Warriors or if he's going to wait out his contract and go as a free agent. Possibility of extending. Olayinka, would you say is strong for Steve Curry with the Golden State Warriors? Or do you think he's going to want to win one last championship or 2 more championships going to a good team and just without his contract? Because we don't even know whether Klay Thompson is going to come back fit anytime soon, and if he does, he's going to be as good as he was.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think every star athlete wants a Samsung story, whereby they'll probably get one shot at the title before they retire. For me, I think he should leave. Because he's already a god. He's already a mini god.
Mini god
at the Warriors. But he needs to leave and go grab the title somewhere else.
All right, perfect. And Luka Doncic is just 23 years old, carrying of about $22 million, and he's going to be a free agent by 2022 as well. Kachi, this question is going to be for you. Luka, should he renew his contract, wait it out, and move to a better team? Or what do you think? Short.
I think it should. remain with the Mavs,
Okay.
particularly because of what may likely happen at the end of this season, and the players that have player options that could opt out of their contracts currently. During our production call, I told you about the rancor in the Clippers between the medical staff and Kawhi Leonard. I don't see it. A Kawhi, Luka Doncic, or even a Paul George, Luka Doncic, and this is on the assumption that the Clippers decide to blow things up and rebuild afresh, will be a very formidable team. Even if you go, and this is me extending my conspiracy as far as my imagination can take me, a Damian Lillard, Luka Doncic, or even a CJ McCollum, Luka Doncic, seems pretty good. Especially in the age of super teams, seeing individual Europeans, and I think it's one big trait that international players have that the classic American superstars don't have. The international players are more loyal because they see the fact that they are playing in the NBA as an opportunity. When Giannis had the opportunity to extend, he extended without missing a heartbeat. We saw Steve Nash do the same with the Suns, ending his career up well. He played for a bit in the Lakers, but almost finishing everything with the Phoenix Suns. We've seen Dirk Nowitzki do the same thing for the Mavs. It's easier for international players and players like Luka to remain with one team because of their innate gratitude for the opportunity to play in the NBA.
In the NBA.
I will remain the Mavs. Right. I think what it is to get Kristaps Porzingis out of that franchise, get him a better mobile big and another pure scorer, and the Mavs will be right there.
Perfect. Malali, James Harden, it's going to be free 2023. Career of $227 million, which is crazy. Declined a 2-year maximum extension with the Houston to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Strong indication is going to be extending his contract. Yes or no?
Of course, the big three in Brooklyn, they have a lot to do together, a lot to prove. Last year, we hardly see them together. From regular season to playoff, I think the number of games they played together wasn't up to 12 or 13. The three of them combined. So I think they are going to the three of them will opt in. I think the main question from them will just be how to probably improve their squad. Would be
especially
because I think they need a big. Yeah, they need a big who can actually defend the interiors and free Kevin Durant the duty of trying to do some bit of, because one of the reasons why Kevin Durant got tired in the what do you call it in the Milwaukee series was it was their best defender and their best offensive player. In the playoff series, that's too much to ask.
Yeah, that's simply because
I think
that's because we're missing.
So I think they had to sort that one.
And James, don't worry. Like I told you at the start of this season, we're not looking at winning the championship this year. But I'm going to stay with you, Lawale. Trae Young, he has just 1 year left on his contract. 2022. Should he move? Extend with
no, you see,
with the ATL Hawks.
Yeah, Atlanta Hawks. See, the truth is this: for most of these guys, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, they are on what do they call it? I think this is their first chance of earning a big money. They are just finishing their rookie contract, so it doesn't make sense from the financial point of view for them to leave the money on the table and move to another team, because the kind of contract they'll be able to sign with the team that drafted them, they will not be able to sign it if they are moving to another team.
Why not?
And yeah, that's the rule. Is the rule in the NBA. So yes. And the Atlanta Hawks are in a great place now. Surprisingly, they got to the finals of the Eastern Conference. You can't ask for more than that. I think you stay put and see how they could build that franchise together. Just like Luka Doncic, when Kachi was talking about it. I think Kachi, another thing I wanted to add about Luka Doncic is their new coach will have to do a lot. I think my own problem, as good as Luka Doncic is too ball dominant. And it might be very difficult for another superstar to play with him. And that's the reason why anytime he's not on the court, they struggle to figure out how to operate offensively, because when he's on the court, he's primarily is with the ball 95% of the time, which I don't think is good for the team.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And from there, we'll move to a little bit of Olympics, a little bit of Olympics and Olympic preview. Sheyi, I'm going to start with you on this one. What would you say is your ultimate or your best Olympic moment, Sheyi?
Best Olympic moment as a, let me say, as a fan, will probably be lightning bolt, the arrival of Usain Bolt. But definitely as a Nigerian, I would say the Atlanta 96 gold, because we never saw it coming. It was definitely,
definitely after losing to Togo before
great moment
the US.
For the country.
After losing to Togo before he went to the US, nobody was thinking about that. Olaika, your own favorite Olympic moment?
Oh, I think I'm going to steal this from Kachi. The name Egbunuke, Innocent Egbunuke, that name still rests. I think it was Fabio Lanikwekun that was screaming that name in 1984 when Innocent Egbunuke anchored the Nigerian 4x4 team to a bronze medal. I mean, I think when he collected the baton, I guess it was like 5th or 6th. Then all of a sudden, Innocent Egbunuke, which is Jerry Calls, he just started moving. And all I could hear was Fabio Lanikwekun screaming his name. Innocent Egbunuke is on the move. And eventually, he came third, and Nigeria won a bronze medal at 1924 Olympics. Very memorable, forever etched in my mind.
In Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken.
LA 1984, Los Angeles 1984.
All right, perfect.
Awesome moment for Nigeria.
Kachi, what about you? You're muted right now. I can't hear you.
I'm going to stick with Sheyi and say my favorite moment really as a fan, as a Nigerian, was also in Atlanta 96 when the Super Cup, Chioma Ajunwa, who had never competed globally in the long jump, with our very first jump, won Nigeria's ever first gold medal in the Olympic in an individual sport. It was just like the Atlanta 96 Dream Team. We didn't see that coming. We never saw it coming. As a matter of fact, she thought she was going there to make up the numbers. Her plan was to do whatever she could do in the sprints. But not only did she surprise well-established long jumpers with her very first jump, she couldn't even do better in her subsequent jumps. With her very first jump, she went over 8 meters, won Nigeria's first ever gold. She was just recently handed a house in the home country.
I was just about saying that so many
after decades
afterwards.
After over 25 years.
Yeah.
But what a moment it was for seeing the flag flown, hearing the national anthem played in such a grand stage. Goosebumps.
All right, Olale, what about you?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Sheyi and what do you call it? From the Nigeria point of view, I think it has to be Atlanta 96. Considering the fact that prior to that, Nigeria has not won an Olympic gold medal before. But if you see the performance from Barcelona 92, you saw it come. We won 3 silvers and 1 bronze in Barcelona 92. But I could still remember the headline in one of these local newspaper. I can't remember the newspaper again. The headline after the Olympic was 3 gold, 1 silver, 3 bronze medals, our best ever. And I think that still remains our best ever up to now. So from Duncan Donkiwari winning the bronze medal in boxing to Falila Tokunkoya winning 400, I think bronze medal in 400 meters. Somebody else won bronze medal. I think the 4x400 meters, they won silver medal. The ladies 4x400 meters, anchored by Falila Tokunkoya, Fatima Yusuf, Charity Okpara. And I forgot the fourth lady. Yeah, it's been a bit long. So, but from international point of view, I think you can't overlook what Michael Phelps did at the Athens Olympics. Nine, is it 9 medals? Was it 9 medals? Was seven? I think 7 gold medals, 2 bronze medals. That was an awesome feat by any Olympic, any Olympic, exactly.
Okay, I don't know why. But I think mine would be I don't know exactly what year it was. So I would need your help for that. Breaking the 4x400 meters record by 2 teams. The Jamaican team, with Young Blake taking up the I think the third leg, where the Americans were actually very well ahead of them.
Was that not London?
It was London, exactly.
2012.
That was London.
Thank you very much, Lali. London, and Young Blake taking the third leg and making all the difference after the first 2 Jamaicans have already messed up the race for
exactly.
them.
I think I remember that race.
Yeah, Ashraf Power and I forgot the name of the guy that took the second. The second guy was actually the one that messed up the race for Jamaicans before Young Blake did what he knows how to do best. And of course, Usain Bolt finishing it up with a great cap. But I think the telling difference of that race was the fact that the US that came second broke the former world record.
Wow.
And the Jamaicans that eventually won set a new world record. It was a great race. I think that's, for me personally, apart from the ball hitting the back of Daniel Amokachi and kind of doing what he did, because that is one of the best footballing brain or footballing tactics I've ever seen in my life. Every other person I know, apart from Dennis Bergkamp, will have shot that ball. Apart from Dennis Bergkamp, only Kanu can do what he did.
I'm probably Babatov.
Exactly. Probably Babatov.
I would like to give a special mention to the late great Muhammad Ali. It's also one moment that has lived eternally in my memory of the Olympics. Muhammad Ali, in spite of the Parkinson disease that he had, successfully in the Olympic torch, the Atlanta Stadium. It was an amazing memory.
Yeah, something you can't forget so soon. And
Never.
of course, wonderful stories from the Olympic. I'm going to the Olympic and just a little bit snipers into what we're looking at the Olympics. Coco Gauff is being ruled out of the Olympic. The German Olympic team walked out of the stadium because of racism. Six athletes from the team GB would be isolated for COVID-19. Dan Evans, the number 1 for the Britain in tennis world, has pulled out of the Tokyo Olympic as well. Matteo Berrettini, the finalist, they just concluded Wimbledon Open, has pulled out because of a thigh injury as well. And now to the Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix. You are not a good racer. You are a disgrace to the history of Grand Prix and Formula One. It's not my fault. The other guy was just being silly. Since the words of course, Sir Lewis Hamilton winning the Grand Prix, 10 seconds being shelved off him, came back to win under some shoddy circumstances. I'll allow you to shed a little bit of more light to it before we go on a short break.
The British Grand Prix was known, well, should I say it's on the record for a few things. First, it's the first time that they introduced the sprint race in qualifying. And this meant that racers had to first on Friday go through the proposed regular qualifying to set their starting grid for Saturday's sprint race over 17 laps. Verstappen started that race on pole on Sunday, and in the very first lap came in contact with Sir Lewis Hamilton, like Debo would call him, which spun him out of the race, and he hit the safety barrier really hard, damaging his car. He never returned to the race. Lewis was given a 10-second violation penalty, which 10-second penalty, pardon me, which he served when he pitted. And Charles Leclerc of Ferrari led that race from the first lap all the way to the 50th lap, when Lewis gradually ate up the gap, a 32-second gap between him and Charles Leclerc, albeit with the help of the Mercedes team, who told his Lewis's teammate Valtteri Bottas to give way because Bottas was racing in second. Lewis came back to win for the first time in 5 races. This is the 8th time he would win his home Grand Prix. He has reduced the gap to Verstappen to 8 points, and the constructor gap is now just 5 points between them and Red Bull. Okay. Great. I think it's just what the race is about. You need contacts, you need daring players, you need daring racers to try and bend the rules without breaking it.
Without breaking it. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Kashi. Shey, I'm gonna come to you now. Postponement between what we are expecting will be whooping between Donato Welder and Tyson Fury. I'm not happy. Can you shed a little bit of light to this postponement?
Anyway, no one is happy. No one is happy. But since there's a situation of a COVID-19 issue in the Tyson Fury camp, okay. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way the fight could have.
So this is just down to COVID-19 issues, right?
Yes, it's basically down.
Do we have a date for it to come up anytime?
Yes, October 9th thereabout. That's like in 3 months' time, and apparently the Joshua fight will be ahead of that.
Of it, so, wow! I thought isolation is just.
David, can I ask Shay one question?
Yeah.
Shay, who is going to benefit from these postponements the most?
I think Fury. I don't think he's properly ready for this fight. I sincerely think Wilder is better prepared.
Okay.
He's in a better frame of mind.
Okay. All right. Perfect. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, we'll be discussing football. So I promise you football. And not so much, so many transfer news, so many transfer rumors, so many things happening in the world of football. Lionel Messi, that was on 44 million euros contract in 4 years, took a 50% pay cut, according to the rumors, to sign an extension with Barcelona. Nothing is official right now. We've not had anything officially from Barcelona or from the Messi camp. But given the kind of era that Messi is in right now, I'm pretty sure he's going to be signing on the dotted lines as soon as he gets back to the Catalonia. But the true question, or the crazy question, or the craziest thing coming out of the Camp Nou, is the swap of Antonio Griezmann with Nuguez Sao. This is going to be crazy. And just to give a background knowledge to this, Antonio Griezmann is on a 800k euros a week contract, and given the kind of stuff they have in Spain, this is too much. The wage bill is too much. That's why Memphis Depay and all the new guys they signed could not be registered yet up until the start of last week. So now they have to shave off some wage bill to be able to accommodate these guys. Now, there's going to be a direct swap, according to what we have right now. Nothing official, for Griezmann to go back to Atletico Madrid, while Sao goes to Barcelona. It's crazy, if you ask me. Olayinka, Barcelona. We've spoken about all the bad choices they've made in the past. This looks like, I don't know, this looks like the worst they will make. And it looks like it's going to happen. Because Griezmann is not going anywhere unless Manchester United buys Griezmann. Or some other big club from Europe takes Griezmann off their hands. They bought this guy for more than 120 million pounds. and this guy is going to move back to Atletico Madrid, a direct rival to Barcelona, while they are getting a Saul that is not even better than Pedri. My God, Barcelona.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, in the last couple of years, the purchases, the transfers to Barcelona, they've been mind bending. You look at Griezmann. I think Griezmann was just a fashionable purchase then. They probably did not sit down to really think critically about the best players to buy to complement Messi.
Who gives Griezmann 650,000 pounds or 800,000 euros every week?
It doesn't make sense. Now, look at what they did before, even before this current rumor. They pushed out Suarez, bought a Kun Aguero. What's the age difference? What's the potential input in terms of quality that Kun is going to bring in that Suarez is not have? That's gone. That's history. Now they want a Saul. I mean, a Saul didn't make the national team. Didn't make the first 11. What value is he going to have? I think their financial position, their not too nice financial position, is affecting the way they are rationalizing what they are going to do.
I think we all talk with the new president, maybe things will change. We thought things would change with the new president. Why even sell Griezmann to Manchester United for 40 million pounds? Please don't give Griezmann to a direct rival.
Well,
am I not making sense? I don't know.
Well, you see, we have to look at a lot of things have actually happened at Barcelona in the past few years. Where I think before around, I think was it early part of this year, where the whole discussion was around Messi's wage bill, how huge it was, how it was putting the club in all sorts of mess. But the revelation we had a couple of weeks ago even made it worse. It wasn't about Leo Messi alone.
Was it
a
about
lot of players they were
Usman Dembele and not keep
Dembele,
it's more than £350,000
so that's so I think we'll still get a lot of revelation about most of these guys' contract, because from the look of things, I think there is somebody somewhere taking a huge it doesn't look normal. It doesn't just make sense at all. But going back to the question about Griezmann, I look at it from 2 points of view. I from what you said about probably them offering it to any other team. But the question is, I think because of the financial situation around the world now, most teams have become a bit wiser. The first question is, who actually wants Antoine Griezmann? That's the first question we need to ask ourselves. Perhaps 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Man United actually want Antoine Griezmann, but I don't think not today. You guys should still get him. I think that
if they offer you for 50 million,
and because of the wage bill, I think from the financial point of view, Barcelona is just looking for a way of getting rid of the guy, considering the fact that they have options now in Memphis Depay and Sergio Kun Aguero. Only God knows how good they are going to be. But I think the wage bill is going to be a big reason for that. If you look at it critically well, Antoine Griezmann actually struggled to fit into whatever they are trying to do in Barcelona. I think the 4-3-3 system doesn't suit his style of play. It's a typical number 8 who wants to play behind the striker. Playing him either on the right or the left side and not actually bring the best out of him. It doesn't suit their system. It doesn't suit their system. It's on a huge wage bill. They're just looking for a way.
But Olale, you asked a question, and I can answer that question for you. You said who actually wants Antoine Griezmann? No matter how bad we think Griezmann is right now, for 50 million pounds, Chelsea will take him. Or PSG.
Arsenal will take him.
No, he's not going to go to Arsenal because Arsenal is not playing the Champions League. He has to play with a good club. Chelsea will.
Now the question is how much do you value Saul Miguez? For the fact that he's not even in the World Cup in the national team doesn't even mean. I think he just had a poor season last year. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's going to bring a lot of value to their midfield.
It's not that bad, but is Saul going to bench Pedri? Who is he going to bench in the middle of the pack?
Yeah.
Are you going to Wale? Honestly, are you going to
But
slot
now,
Nuguez into the starting lineup of it? It's just the same way they took Pjanic. Pjanic is not a bad player.
What do they have in the midfield now? But Pjanic looks a bit out of it for now at present.
Okay,
those are things you have to consider.
Let's spend so much time on Barcelona because it's just going to get down to the wire now. And Kachi, I'm going to come to you next. Arsenal just agreed a £50 million deal with Brighton and Hove to bring on
FPL Ben White.
Yeah,
Ben White.
And what we've been
FPL
seeing,
Ben White.
what we've been seeing across the social media, was that dribble of Ben White by Marcus Rashford. Realistically, sometimes I don't understand how people think. You have a William Saliba who is going to pass as an homegrown player because he moved to Arsenal when he was less than 20 years old. So this does not count like, okay, it's because he's an homegrown player. You know, in the EPL, you need a certain number of homegrown players in your team. But now you're buying Ben White for £50 million. This is a team that does not have a world-class goalkeeper. This is a team that their strikers are not doing well. This is a team that puts the whole of the attacking whatever responsibility on an erratic Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. These guys are 20 and 19 years old. I don't understand. Maybe you can school me, please.
If an embittered Arsenal fan claiming to be a Madrid fan,
I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a Chelsea fan today, please.
Now claiming Chelsea fan does not understand. It beats me how you want me to make sense of that transfer too. I'm not. I mean, on our social media handle, we posted a recent transfer that Chelsea just made. I think I'm not too sure now. We said for $50 million now, you only get prospects. So between 20 and 50 million, you're only getting. You're pretty much just getting average rated players. And this is not a knock on Ben White. I think it's just a case of misplaced priorities, right? We just spent a considerable number of time discussing the sense or otherwise of Barcelona's current transfers, and it's looking like we've always said Arsenal is Barcelona light. So whatever Barcelona Arsenal wants to do was than that. You're definitely right that there are more critical areas to beef up, but who wants to come to Arsenal? That's the question right now. The bottom line is who right now, which key players
wants to come to Arsenal?
Put it right there that agents have that conversation with Arsenal. Nobody. I mean, they need who would make them attractive, so to speak, and possibly get them into the lowest rung of the European tournament next season. Players have egos. They want to play in tournaments that the rest of the world will see. Right now, Arsenal will not give them that. So they are stuck with Bernd Leno. Unfortunately, they are stuck with Bukayo Saka, who I think would have a better season.
Last year.
Support is hard, and it says a lot for a 19-year-old to
be the bedrock of
the club, to have a major tournament. If it was a Spanish player, we'll be like, oh my God, Pedri is 19 and he's had a major tournament under his belt, and in 2 weeks' time he's going to play in the Olympics. The bottom line is, right now, Arsenal is not an attractive club for players. Who are. So it's very hard. It's the reality.
And they don't even have the coach to attract those kind of players.
But the good thing is, the thing about Arsenal is this.
Yeah.
As much as I think the worst kept secrets in football is about the state of Arsenal finances. I don't think they have that kind of money to compete with it. But one thing I still think, one thing I still think is, I think if the people running Arsenal are very smart, what Arsenal needs now is they need people who understand football very well. A very good director of football, somebody who can scout. I still think even though you can't spend like City, United, or this, you can still compete with them if they have a proper plan, a proper transfer plan about the signings. They've spent some very decent money on some very unreasonable transfers.
Unreasonable transfers, yeah.
Yeah. So if
Like
Leicester, I'm not sure Leicester has more money than Arsenal, but they've been a bit smarter than Arsenal in the transfer market.
Let's not
But-
forget
The players they are
I think
targeting.
I just wanted
Arsenal
to add,
they have a form of
Stan
financial
Kroenke,
difficulty at the moment.
I wanted to add this, guys, that Stan Kroenke, the Arsenal owner, the majority shareholder, has multiple teams playing in United States sports. And one of his teams just finished building a $5 billion edifice of a stadium in Los Angeles. Wow. That is where his focus is on
right now, not Arsenal.
But
then you should sell Arsenal. Anyways, so we don't spend so much time on Arsenal. We know Arsenal the way they are right now. We Arsenal fans, we've accepted Arsenal. We'll probably come 7th or 8th next season as well. But we'll wait out our time. No worries about that. So people I know actually supported AC Milan that could not make Champions League for so I never mentioned anybody's name, please. And of course, Sheyi, I want to come to you now. Personal agreement with Rafael Varane. Varane's contract runs out next year. Manchester United on the brink of it. United looking at Trippier as well, Kieran Trippier as well. How good would this transfer be for United? And given what we know of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's probably going to buy Kevin Trippier and end up not using him just the way he did to Alex Telles of Porto last season.
Okay, Debo, let me start from this point of view. I think these are fantastic signings, and I will try as much as possible to break it down. Talking about Varane, Varane has done everything in Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. He has 1 year left on his contract, and I think this is the best time for Real Madrid to let him go. Also, this is the time for him to also find another challenge. United, at the moment, I still think the defense is not up to what it should be. Thereabout, yeah. I think Varane is just a perfect signing for Man U. Okay. Also, we've criticized Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about using two double, what's it called?
Four, like two defensive
midfielders. Double holding midfielder.
Exactly. And what he has really justified that because he knows that his defense is whack. Now, bringing in Varane will help him let his team express themselves very well. And the likes of Sancho can actually tick in terms of the attacking play.
And now you're going to
give I think it's a fantastic
Jesse Lingard opportunity to express himself as well.
No, I think Jesse Lingard should be sold. That's what I think.
No, according to the news that we saw today, he said he's going to give him a role in the team.
You don't believe everything you read in the media.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be sold because they actually need some money to balance the books. They're going to sign players, and I know they're going to sell players. Now, after picking up all these good players, the onus is now on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let us see what he's going to do about
it. Okay. All right, perfect. Olanke, I'm going to come to you now. We've not been hearing so much from Anfield apart from Nelos that came. You guys rejected Kabak that helped you last season with your defense. You bought Konate from RB Leipzig for huge money as well. I don't think he's a good defender, but Jurgen Klopp is the best coach in the world right now because he doesn't overthink things. I would have chosen Guardiola, but I won't because he overthink things. So I agree. I agree with Jurgen Klopp on Konate. I feel Kabak is better than Konate. Anyways, but now we're moving to the white side of Madrid, which is the Camp Nou. Bale is going back to Madrid. He's not going to stay in Spurs. At the start of the transfer window, July 1st, all indication where that was pointed to the fact that Matt Odegaard is not for sale. Now Madrid said, if you come with the right price, we are going to sell him. So, do you think Bale would settle well back in Real Madrid? We know Ancelotti is a fantastic man manager. And why would you sell Odegaard right now? And just staying with you again, Vinicius Junior is being touted to move on loan to Manchester United. So I just wanted to just quickly discuss these three things. Bale going back to Real Madrid, how he's going to perform. Martin Odegaard being put back on the transfer window when he could stay in Madrid and do some wonderful things. And of course, Vinicius Junior being sent on loan or touted to go on loan to Manchester United. All these are rumors. Nothing is concrete right now. But I just wanted to quickly discuss those three things.
Okay. All right. First of all, for the Bale issue, Nuno, the new sports coach, he was quoted to having emphatically said that one player that will be part of his plans next season is Bale. So Bale he has no choice but to go back to Real, unless another team wants to pick him up on transfer, on loan. I mean, when you look at his age, he's not the Bale that we knew 4 years ago. I don't think he's in not demand globally right now. So he has no choice. He has to go back to Real and fight for his spot. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because I would say that he didn't play enough in Tottenham to be in such a shape to secure a spot in Real. And when you look at his performance at the Euros, it was okay, but I don't think that's the kind of player that can tie down a regular shirt in Real. That's number one. Then two, Odegaard went to Arsenal. He changed or added to the quality level of the team in last season, and he's the kind of player I think it's about time that he should settle down in Real and try and fight for his shirt. You can see what happened to Isco. It's unbelievable that Isco, who to me is even a more of a world-class player than Odegaard, is having issues in Real. So I think that Odegaard being put on the transfer market, it's either of two things. It's either their financial issue. We know that Real too has financial issues anyway, but I don't think he's the kind of player that they should put on sale. He's a talent. He's young. He's someone that you can build the team around on. Toni Kroos is not getting younger. What's his name? Luka Modric is not getting younger. Odegaard could be an understudy to either of them. He's a talented, skillful player. He's talented, and I see him. He could be made the future of Real. But I guess the Real management team they think otherwise. They're not looking in that direction. Vinicius, what can we say about Vinicius? He's a hot and cold player.
Bastard end product.
I'm telling you, he blows hot and cold. Anytime he wears the Real jersey, he plays very well. But once he's in the colors of Brazil, he turns off.
It's something else.
Going to United, will it be beneficial to both parties, or the three parties? I'm talking about Real, Vinicius, and United itself. For United, I don't think so. I don't think he's the kind of player that will thrive in the Premier League. He does a lot of running, but at times it could be aimless. And I don't think he.
Point of correction, sir. Most times it's aimless.
And I don't think he's going to displace either Rashford or Greenwood. I don't see him pushing
or Sancho.
I don't see him pushing those two guys to the bench. And for him, will you call that an upgrade or a parallel move or a downgrade? I mean, it will be a downgrade. It won't be an upgrade. I don't want to call it a downgrade. It won't be an upgrade for him. And for Real,
you're a Liverpool fan. Don't be scared. You're a Liverpool fan. You don't like United. Just say it's a downgrade. Just say it. Don't be scared. Sabri, Walali and Shea will not do anything to you. Don't worry. I'm here for you.
But for Real, it'll be a plus for Real, because that means United will take care of his bills. I'm very sure that there won't be an agreement where Real will pay part of his bills. So I think Real will be the only winning party in this arrangement.
Low with an obligation to buy for 80 million pounds. That would be good on the part of Real Madrid. And of course, Olale, how Osam of Lyon has been put up for sale for 25 million pounds. Ridiculous. Given this same guy was put up for sale about 50 million pounds, and Arsenal was trying to get him last season. Now Spurs is in the picture. They want a direct swap. They want to take Ndobele, return Ndobele back to Lyon, and take Osama. How sensible is this proposal? Ndobele actually did pretty well towards the end of last season. And I don't know.
Let me tell you one funny thing about Ndobele.
Yeah.
I don't think he really fancy Jose Mourinho like that. But I think somebody said he was one of those few guys that celebrated Mourinho exit from Spurs. But he had more game time under Mourinho than he had with their interim manager that took over. So this transfer is a bit tricky. Sometimes you can't really figure out how it's going to work until you probably see it working. You don't know. You can't really say. I think Ndobele is actually a good player, but for a reason known to Nuno, that is deciding to do this. For Osam, yes, two seasons ago, we saw a glimpse of what he could do in the Champions League with Lyon. But again, it's a bit of a risky transfer.
Exactly.
You don't know how it will eventually.
It's going to turn out.
You don't know how it will.
Ndobele is doing quite well right now. So why don't you just buy Osam for 25 million and keep.
So it's tricky. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it eventually plays out.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Lale. Kachi, I'm going to come to you now, and that will probably be the last question I'm going to be asking before we go on the show today. Lewandowski, 50 million pounds being touted to Chelsea, best striker in the whole world by far, by long shot. Probably going to be on the podium for the Ballon d'Or as well. Do you think Chelsea should go all out for this, given the history of Chelsea with good strikers?
I wouldn't say Chelsea should not go all out for it. I guess the question would be, will it be a better fit for Chelsea than it would be for potentially a Real Madrid that needs someone to complement Karim Benzema and take over some of the goal scoring responsibility, so to speak. I believe Chelsea currently has in its squad some players they can groom. We shouldn't bury the young man yet. I can't immediately remember his name now. Who can run but cannot score? Who?
Tammy Abraham or CHO?
No, not Callum Hudson or Tammy Abraham. I'm talking of the guy.
Timo Werner.
Thank you very much.
Timo Werner.
Timo needed that 1 year with Chelsea. Let's see what he will do. But you are very right. I mean, history will tell us that Andrei Shevchenko came at a similar age as Lewandowski is now. We also saw.
We saw Ana Crespo. We saw Alvaro Morata. We see so many good strikers. I think the only three good strikers that I've seen in Chelsea, the only three since Abramovich is Drogba, Nicolas Anelka, and Diego Costa. Those are the three that I've seen.
Yeah, that have succeeded. But those are the three. Those are not the three they bought. Chelsea
exactly, that's what I'm saying. They bought so many and they failed.
Outright strikers who have succeeded in other clubs, other leagues.
Messiah Kesman.
Exactly.
Andrea Mutu.
Romanian.
And
Fernando Torres.
So
50 pound man.
My personal opinion is, does Chelsea have the right? Of course they do. I mean, Abramovich.
Of course they do, yeah.
Or will it be a good fit? I think that is up for a lot of debate. I think it'll be a better fit in Madrid than he would be in Chelsea.
Or in Arsenal.
That's not saying that Lewandowski will not go in there. Goals. He will get his goals, but it just may not be very successful.
We never can tell. You never can tell. We thought Torres and Shevchenko were
Man City could do it
well. That's what we thought, but they could not.
But with Harry Kane still in the picture, I don't know if Harry Kane is ready to give Nuno Espirito Sanchez time to see what kind of build.
For me, Kane should just leave. I don't know what you guys think, but Kane should just leave. This is just about time. He's 29 years old.
It's about time. I think.
Yeah, you see, I think the problem with Harry Kane was, I think he got carried away with the little success they recorded doing Pochettino's time. Yeah, as a big star at times, just like what LeBron James has actually tried to open the eyes of most NBA players. At times, if you're a big player, it's actually a risk on one part. You don't need to sign too much of long-term contract. You don't need to tie yourself down. The longer contracts you sign, the longer the contract, the more you don't.
It's difficult for you to get out.
Exactly, the situation is not in your control again.
Yeah.
So I think this is the major problem with this Harry Kane's case, because I think he has like 3 years left on his contract, which makes it difficult. It's all about what Spurs want to do now. He can't just force his way out. It's all about if Spurs just feel like they don't want to keep a player that doesn't have his art with the club again. So I think for players like Harry Kane going forward, 3 years, something moderate that you can control the narrative. But for now, I don't know how it will. Somebody will have to bring out that money if they actually want Harry Kane.
They bidded £100 million. Let's see how that goes. Manchester City bidded £100 million for Harry Kane. Let's see how that goes, and if Spurs and Mr. Daniel Levy will want more. And that's the wrap. That's the show, guys. Don't forget to follow us on all our Instagram, on our social media handles. On Instagram at Newsinstanta, on Twitter at Newsinstanta World, and on Facebook at Newsinstanta. And like, subscribe, and enjoy us on YouTube, Newsinstanta Sport. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful day ahead.